Welcome to Drew's Baseball Crew. Episode 13 is the number here on this Monday night for August 23rd. If you're listening Tuesday morning, welcome here. We're going to be going through, as always, my favorite matchups. We're going to go through, guys who I think need to be in your lineup to win here on Phantasia Sports. Win those daily lineups. Look, you got to join Phantasia Sports. I mean, I've talked about it. The link is in the description with that link tree. Just click on it. Phantasia Sports is on there. You sign up. These are free contests. Again, I always like to emphasize free contests, free money, right? It doesn't get any better than that. You can win the fan token on there. You can use that also then to get yourself some FanBot, their NFT thing on Phantasia, or also you can just get other options with their FanBot marketplace. I should specify is what it is. But otherwise, look, there's a lot of great things you can do on there. Also, fantasy football leagues. I have a second league on there because, look, League One filled up. I mean, kudos to everyone who joined it. Thank you to everyone. That 10-team league filled up with a couple weeks to go, actually. So had to start another one here. This one's going to be drafted a week before the season. So it's a little closer, for people who like to do that. I'm right with you on that. But look, back to the MLB Daily Fantasy Sports side. That's kind of what we're doing right now on Phantasia. So let's go through it. Let's go through the games. Let's go through the reports. As always, we'll start with our starting pitcher report. So the Cardinals and the Cubs have a doubleheader. Depending on where you play, one of the games is included. Either the first, second. I wouldn't think both in a daily fantasy sports setting, but some platforms maybe. But Adam Wainwright is the guy who's going for the Cardinals in game one, which you love that matchup for Wainwright. The Cubs are striking out way too much. There's actually a Cub I was looking at before who I want to talk about. Ian Happ's that guy. We'll get to that more in a little bit, but Jake Woodford and Adrian Sampson's the other matchup. There might be something there with Sampson. I mean, 54 career plate appearances for him, and the numbers are very good against the Cardinals. Paul Goldschmidt has an XBA of 160 against him in 10 at-bats. And, xWOBA is 201. And the whole Cardinals lineup has an xWOBA of 236, average exit velocity of 87.8 miles per hour, XBA around 159. Look, this is actually probably one of my favorite sleeper matchups there. Sampson against the Cardinals. I'd be interested. I mean, if you could go with him, if he's the main guy in your slate, please. I mean, two pitcher, I should add, is where I'd be going with him. Other guys, Nick Lodolo, I love. He had a great start against the Phillies last time out. Goes against them again. Why not? And also Ranger Suarez against what is remaining of the Cincinnati Reds lineup is where I'd go. I think those are both awesome options. I'd go Suarez over Lodolo, actually. Suarez, I'm confident. He had a nice stretch last year. I think he can keep it up here for the Philadelphia Phillies and for the rest of this season. Max Fried against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Another great matchup for an ace against a lineup that's not so good in the Pittsburgh Pirates, like Max Fried. Dylan Cease against the Orioles. Orioles is nice, and his numbers are fantastic against them for his career. But I do like Austin Voth against the Chicago White Sox. Why, you may ask? So the Chicago White Sox have one of the lowest xWOBAs and WOBAs, so it's a weighted on base average or expected weighted on base average, more advanced stat that looks at overall. It kind of compiles all the batting stats together, and it spews out a number, which is the xWOBA or WOBA, the expected weighted on base or the weighted on base. But Austin Voth is for sure one of my other favorite sleeper pitchers tonight, as like I said, the White Sox do not handle right-handed pitching well. They hit lefties, and think about the lineup makes sense. Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, those guys, being in the lineup, and then Luis Robert when he's healthy, of course. Just a lineup that hits lefties very well. Not so much about the righties, but I'd be looking at him too. Taijuan Walker against Frankie Montas. This is interesting. Montas has been not good with the Yankees. And Taijuan Walker, I don't know if I like him in this matchup at Yankee Stadium. So I'm going to say no to both. Carlos Rodon against the Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park. This is an awesome matchup too. This is up there too. I mean, if you want to go stars here, lineups, you can just choose Carlos Rodon and then take a guy like Max Fried. I'm all for it. Please go ahead and do it if you find your sleeper hitters, which we have a bunch here today. Keep that in mind. So I think you'll be able to find your sleeper hitters. Other than that, though, I mean, Justin Verlander against the Twins, it kind of falls off from there. Colorado is at home. So German Marquez or Dane Downey are not guys I would like to play, but there are a lot of good hitters, of course. You'll always find there. Not riding out Aaron Savali after his nice start he had last time out. Mike Clevinger against the Guardians, I considered. I don't know about strikeouts, and that's kind of what I, at the end of the day came down. I don't know how much swing and miss he's gonna get compared to these other guys, so passed on him right now. Other than that, Robbie Ray against what is left of the Washington Nationals is the final one. Love that matchup there for Ray. Corbin Burns, love that. And then Tony Gonsolin, look what he did the Milwaukee Brewers last time out. Why not ride them both out? So there's a lot of aces. So a lot of great pitchers to choose from at the end of the day. So maybe you want to take some sleepers, but I feel like a lot of these pitchers have really high floors, for these games out. You just got to do your best, pick the ones who you think are going to do the best. And I kind of gave the guys who I like the most there, Rodon being one of them. And then if you want to go sleepers, right, I mentioned Voth as one of them. And other than that, I mean, I mentioned Fried, Suarez, Lodolo, Sampson, a lot of guys. So keep those in mind when you're going through your pitchers. That will wrap up the pitching report. But right away, let's go to first base. Yeah, I know I skipped catcher over because I really wanted to highlight Nathaniel Lowe was a guy at first. I think he is actually outfield or DH eligibility. Depends on, again, what platform. You better be on Phantasia. But any other platforms might be a little different there. And again, Texas Rangers are against Colorado. So they're at Coors. So Nathaniel Lowe is boasting an XBA of 354 against Marquez in his career. And he's got an average exit velocity of 102.4. He's hitting the ball hard. He's putting together great at-bats against a guy like Marquez. I'd be looking at that matchup there right at first base. Wanted to throw that one out. Otherwise, let's go back to catcher, and then I'll go back. That makes sense. Okay, so Adley Ruchman, again, very small sample size against Dylan Cease for his career, but he's put together great at-bats. He's 1 for 2 with a walk, right? So he's faced him one start, but those are numbers you like to see. Wilson Contreras has done very well against Jake Woodford for his career, 4 for 10 there with 2 home runs, no strikeouts. Depends what game you're starting Contreras. It's a big no for me. 6 for 27 against Wainwright for his career, but if you get Woodford start, yes, is how I would play that. Salvador Perez against Zach Davies. Listen to this. 3 for 6, 3 home runs against him. Please start Salvador Perez tomorrow at catcher. If you can, I would go ahead right away and do that. Otherwise, catchers, it gets tough. You can play platoons. You can go with Marquez in Coors. I'd be fine with that. Cal Raleigh against Eric Fetty. I like that match there for him. Raleigh, I should say. Omar Narvaez against Tony Gonsolin, throwing the guy. If he's playing and he's looking good, I would go with that. Other than that, catcher's tough today. It really is. Eric Haas against the lefty in Rodon. I know I was like, start Rodon, but he's a guy I tend to platoon. I mean, I would start there as like a streamer kind of guy. But that wraps up there the catcher, as you know. Hopefully, with Phantasia, you're going to start a catcher, but hopefully you can find one with great value there and really focus on other positions here. So those positions, first base, I know I mentioned Nathaniel Lowe. Other ones, what comes to mind, Rhys Hoskins against Nick Lodolo. I like that matchup there for Hoskins. CJ Crone against Dane Dunning. Could be looking at that. Again, if you want to start, if you're looking for really deep guys to start, Michael Chavis against Max Fried. Josh Naylor against Mike Clevinger, I would say. I can't say Rowdy, in points. I'm just worried about strikeouts and whatnot. Obviously, in some leagues, you don't lose points for that or some lineups, but just keep in mind, just looking for upside to get points like walks and other ways. Nick Pratto for the Royals against Zach Davies. So Vinny Pasquantino exited Monday's game. I would keep that in mind. That I'd actually probably be looking at Pratto there at first if you can get also low in your lineup. But first base, there's more guys. Matt Olson against JT Brubaker if you want to pay up a little bit. Other ones, when I say there's other guys, there's really not much. Seth Brown, Pablo Lopez. I'm for that one. I think that could be something. Joey Meneses against Robbie Ray there for the Nationals. He's a first baseman. That could be a good matchup. But that will wrap up first base. Let's go to second here. Gavin Lux actually has done very well against Corbin Burns. If you watched, again, it was one game against him. It was last week. He had a great game against him. Don't know how much you want to take that into account. Maybe a little bit, but not much. Cesar Hernandez against Robbie Ray. Good numbers for Hernandez. Luis Rengifo has not got, or Corey Kluber has not gotten Luis Rengifo out, I should say. Better way to word it. Ketel Marte has good numbers against Jonathan Heasley of the Kansas City Royals. And, 2 for 13 for Polanco against Justin Verlander. Jorge Polanco there for the Twins against Verlander of the Astros. Jonathan India against Ranger Suarez. I don't know what his status is injury-wise. I'm not sure how he's doing, but keep that one in mind. Andres Jimenez against Mike Clevinger there for the Guardians as well. And I'll include a few more here. I'm looking. Brendan Donovan, depending what game you get him, against Javier Assad there for the Cubs. If you want to ride Vaughn Grisham, it depends on his price. Again, he's sometimes inflated at some areas just because of his recent performances, right? It's one to keep in mind. And then if you want to do the Coors ones, there's options. Brendan Rodgers against Dane Dunning. Simeon is a career 1 for 9 against Marquez with 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 0 home runs. Probably not a good one to play there. But that's probably going to wrap it up there. For second base, let's go to third. Third base, we have a lot of good options here. Austin Riley for a star. Good numbers off of Brubaker. Nolan Arenado against Sampson's the lone. Cardinals hitter, it seems, who has good numbers off him. Ryan McMahon against Dane Dunning. Could be a good one. Brad Miller against Marquez. Like that. Alec Boehm against Nick Lodolo. So those are like the main ones for me. Like my favorites. And ones I would consider Kyle Farmer against Suarez, depending on where Farmer is in the lineup. And then, of course, Jose Ramirez would be okay against Clevinger, but I think you have better options today. So third base, I thought there was going to be more. There wasn't really as much as I thought there would be. But let's go to shortstop here before we do our outfield. So the main ones here. Carlos Correa against Verlander. You'd be surprised. 5 for 10 with a home run, 3 walks to 2 strikeouts there for Correa. I like that there. Francisco Lindor off of Frankie Montas. 4 for 9 with 2 walks to 2 strikeouts. Love that there for him. Wow, Trey Turner is 3 for 4 off of Burns for his career. Bobby Witt Jr. already has some awesome numbers off of Zach Davies for his career, including a home run. It's a good matchup there. Iglesias is at home. When Iglesias is at Coors, Jose Iglesias at short. He's been doing very well, and then he's 2 for 4 off of Dunning for his career. J.P. Crawford off of Eric Fetty, like that matchup. Other ones, I can't say Javier Baez. Matchup, you might like it, you might not. I'll tell you the numbers don't like it. 1 for 8 with 4 strikeouts for Baez in his career off of Rodon. Maybe you want to go with Willie Adames off Gonsolin, but I just don't really see the upside there. Otherwise, short. It's getting a little rough. Brandon Crawford, I'll throw him off of Drew Hutchinson. But yeah, short is Not good. Not good. So I'd be leaning towards those stars who I mentioned. I didn't mention Xander Bogaerts, but he's 6 for 13 off of Stripling for his career with a home run. So I'd be going more stars there at short. I'd even throw Corey Seager in there. Let's go to outfield. Ian Happ was one I was mentioning right away. I'd be looking at him. He is 9 for 27 off of Wainwright for his career. Hopefully you can start him in there. He's 4 home runs off of him too. So 9 hits. 4 of those 9 are home runs. I like that for Happ. Otherwise, Rafael Ortega off Jake Woodford, depending, again, one game, 4 for 8 there. Mike Trout against Corey Kluber. Why not? It's Mike Trout, depending on his price. Not sure how high it could be. Cedric Mullins off of Dylan Cease. Good numbers for Mullins. Yordan Alvarez off of Dylan Bundy. Christopher Morel off Jake Woodford, depending, again, eligibility, where you can play him. Jaron Duran, if he gets the start off Ross Stripling, some good numbers for him. Ooh, outfield's a little tough here. MJ Melendez off of Zach Davies. I like that one. Jock Peterson off Drew Hutchinson. And then why not? Randall Grichuk off Dane Dunning. Throw another Coors one in there. Dalton Varsho off of Jonathan Heasley. Charlie Blackmon off Dane Dunning, depending on his injury status, if he is available. But I think outfield-wise, that's probably going to wrap it up. Michael Harris, I'd put him in as a potential guy. But not much there for outfield. A lot of guys I like in the infield, but outfield, I have certain ones I'd pick. So that's going to be the lineup there. I will be posting this, as always, on the social media, so you can go check that out on all the platforms. It'll be up on TikTok even. We have that TikTok. Go check out the link tree. It has all the links in there. And that's on, you can find that anywhere there. But otherwise, that's going to wrap it up for me. Social medias at Drew's Sports Crew for the Instagram and Twitter. And then YouTube, Drew's Sports Crew. And Facebook is also Drew's Sports Crew. So thank you all for listening to another episode of Drew's Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you. Thank you, everybody. Good night.